Greetings, and today I'm here to do a review for you for Geek Legion of Doom, and it's a bit of a different one for me to review today. This one is a medieval history type movie. It's fictional, but it's based on the real character of Boudica. The movie is called Boudica, Rise of the Warrior Queen. I'll start by telling you, unfortunately, we don't have any trailers for this movie, so you're sort of stuck with me for 5 minutes, but let me give you a little bit of detail about the movie. So this movie was directed by a lady called Zoe Morgan, who is actually one of the writers of the movie. To give you the main stars of the movie here, we have Ella Pale in the role of Boudica. We have Michelle McTiernan in the role of Boudica's mother, Lucilia. James William Cook in the role of Geminus, who is Boudica's love interest in the movie. So this movie, to my knowledge, is fictional. I did do some research and cannot find very much about Boudica's early life. Pretty much everyone knows who she was. We're talking around 61 AD. Boudica led a revolt against the Roman Empire in the UK. Her husband had passed away. He left everything he owned to his 2 daughters and the Roman Empire collectively together, hoping that that would help with the integration of their tribe, the Iceni tribe, with the Roman Empire. It didn't. It all went a bit wrong. The powers that be took everything they owned, very badly punished Boudica and her daughters. Just did some very horrible things. And Boudica led a few tribes in revolt against the Roman Empire. She did win a few of those battles. She is known as a warrior queen. This woman took no, you know what I mean. But eventually she was overthrown. She was defeated, and some stories say that she poisoned herself rather than admit defeat. Others say that she died of illness. So that really, the history books aren't even really sure what happened there. So this movie is not about what would be the most well-known segment of Boudica's life, which has been covered quite a bit. This movie is about a young Boudica before she was married. Her mother actually texts her from her village. She is due to be put into an arranged marriage, which she doesn't want to do. Her mother was put into an arranged marriage when she was a young woman, and she wants to protect Boudica from the same fate of a loveless marriage. So she actually takes Boudica away to her childhood home where the mother grew up and Boudica was a child. Basically to escape, to get away from things. And the movie follows their relationship mainly, and Boudica also encounters a young man when she's gone back home with her mother, who she gradually starts to get feelings for. Her mother is very much against this, is not a fan of this young man, and the movie is pretty much centres around the budding relationship with this young man, her relationship with her mother, and basically what changed Boudica from a normal young girl, where that sort of fighting spirit came from, how she became the woman that we actually know. If you would like to put it in superhero languages, it's the only way I can think to describe this. It's an origin story for Boudica, and what made her the woman she was, how she moved from teenage years, where she got that fighting spirit, and the biggest influence in her life, her mother, and what happened and what presented us with the woman that we know from history. So that's pretty much what the story's about. This is not a fast-paced movie. This is quite a slow burn movie. I don't mind that. I like that. I like the fact that this movie concentrated on the character before all of the stuff that we all know about. There are a lot in the search for stills or for trailers for this to put together the review. I found a lot of movies about Boudica, but they're all concentrating on the warrior queen. They're all concentrating on what happened after her husband died, the fights, the war. This is very much a different side of things. This is what made her how she is, and I like that we're looking at a different side of the character. It humanises the character and it makes her like any one of us, like a normal woman. She's not this big tough warrior queen that just has this heart of stone. We see her as a young girl, a normal young adolescent, and we follow her progression in what hardens her and what makes her the way she is, and we get an understanding of how she got to the position that she did. That's not to say in the movie there's a lot of hardship and a lot of really horrible, nasty things happen to Boudica, because that's not the case. But we definitely do get a feel of how life must have been for young women back then, how they very much didn't have very much choice in life. Men obviously had the upper hand at everything. They made all the decisions. You're just a silly little woman, run along now kind of thing. And I think that's something that was always resented a lot, not just in Boudica but also in her mother. And her mother had that same passionate fighting spirit that Boudica had, but her mother didn't go with it. Her mother did marry into the arranged marriage. She sort of gave away a lot of herself and just became the dutiful little housewife and did what she was told, and she doesn't want this for her own daughter. And this movie very much is putting that across in the relationship between mother and daughter. That's what we concentrate on most in this. And as well as the relationship with her mother. As I said, we follow the budding romance with the young gentleman that Boudica meets. That really would be a love match, which is something that wasn't very common back then. Usually a woman was married off to whoever her parents chose, because it would maybe help between different tribes or whatever that may be. But in this case, she actually falls in love in her own terms, and we sort of get to see where that went and what happened, and I won't say any more about that, but it's just a very interesting slant on the whole Boudica story. So enough about the story. It's one of those things you're either going to want to see or you're not. If you're into sort of like period pieces, medieval sort of movies, you'll probably enjoy this. There is some battle scenes in this, not so much on a large scale, but there are some fight scenes which I felt were very well choreographed at what they did. But if you're wanting to watch this for action and gore and all of those things, that's not what this movie is about. It's more of a drama. It's more of a relationship tale, a romance tale, an origin story of a very famous character in history. What the movie sets out to do, I feel they achieved. I feel they did very well. The acting is all very good in this movie. There were no weak links here. I enjoyed all the acting performances. I really, really liked the character of Boudica and her mother both. They were very... It sort of showed you an area of life of how Boudica would have become had her mother not put her foot down and said, no, I want more for you than what I had. And as a parent myself, I can very much relate to that. I thought the lady that played her mother was excellent. Boudica obviously was fantastic, that fiery red hair. Very much this young girl has a look of Boudica. The young gentleman that played her love interest was also very good. Those three characters are the main three that we follow through the movie. There are smaller incidental roles, but they aren't big roles within the movie. The cinematography was fine, everything was shot well, there was nothing that looked really out of place. I find if you can follow a movie and enjoy the movie without being distracted by particular things like, that doesn't look good, or that's out of place, or that accent's really bad, or that fight scene looks terrible, that's not believable, and that didn't happen. I was able to sit down and watch this movie and enjoy it for the story without being distracted by anything, and to me that's actually a sign that they've done their job well. I'm not looking at bad acting, I'm not looking at really bad cinematography, I'm not being distracted and annoyed by bad sound design, because there is nothing as irritating as having to whack the volume up to hear dialogue, and then when music or sound effects come in, we're deafened and we're turning down. That's not an issue either. The sound design's very well mixed throughout this also. So for me, this is a movie, like I said before, it's either going to appeal to you or it's not for its subject matter. So if I had to rate Boudica Rise of the Warrior Queen out of 10, I will come in with a 7 for this one. I do feel it's above average for the type of movie that it is. As I said, it's not something that I personally would choose to watch usually. I'm more a lover of horror and thrillers and that sort of thing. But if you enjoy the subject matter, if you're into medieval history, dramas, I do feel that you'll enjoy this movie. I would recommend it to you. So let me know below in the comments what you think. Are you familiar with the story of Boudica, the warrior queen? Do you think it may be interesting to see another side of her? Let us know below in the comments what you think, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.